Good morning, everyone, on this wonderful winter's morning, Sunday morning. And look who we got today. We got the man himself, Kenny Ken, is in the building. Are you, Kenny?
I'm very happy about the win. I think you've got to take it when it comes. But, you know, a lot of fans are thinking that we've climbed Mount Everest and managed to get back down to the bottom again. And so fans are now saying, "Oh, we told you so," and they're trying to slaughter people, saying that that we're all conspiracy theorists, and that we're talking rubbish about Arteta and everything's right. And they don't understand two things. One, it's 2 wins. It's the first win after 7 games. Most of them defeats at home. You know, another thing as well. We scored with a penalty, a free kick, and a mistimed shot, and we actually got battered in the game, especially the second half. We managed to hang in there, but you know, credit's true. But let's not remember we're 14th for a reason, because we keep on losing matches, and because the manager's not doing so, he's not good enough. So, you know, if we're going to live off beating Man United and Chelsea, then we have massive problems at this club. Massive problems still.
Yeah, and Ryan's in the chat says, Merry Christmas to you, Kenny. He's saying, hope you're well.
Merry Christmas, Ryan.
Jahid's in the chat. Everyone's in the chat this morning. Connor's in the chat. London is Red is in the chat. I'll go through it anyway. We'll take everyone's questions. So Claude, we've won. He says London is Red. Yes. Right. Yeah, I agree with you, Kenny. And I did respond to one tweet this morning. I'm not having that. Saying we should be. We thought we would be more sensible and all that crap. Where were these people back in the last few weeks? And they suddenly come out after one win to openly go on the attack, and they're probably thinking the same as what we've been thinking as well. So don't try and score points. It's not worth it. I stick to my belief. I think, like yesterday, I thought it was a great win. I called it. You know, Kenny, I called it, didn't I? I did call it. I said there'd be...
You called it.
I knew there would be complacency from Lampard. I also believe this. I think he had a game. He knows he had 2 games in 48 hours. And I think what he's done, he's thought, well, it's Aston Villa's probably more tougher than Arsenal. I'll do this for this game, and I'll do that for another game, instead of just concentrating on trying to win the game. And that's he's come unstuck. But I'm not taking anything away from Arsenal. I thought some wonderful performances from young players. Lovely goal from Saka. Did he mean it? I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give him the benefit. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say he did, but overall his performance was brilliant. Martinelli, of course, giving us an extra spark, and Smith Rowe, by the way, who's not been in any sort of lineup this season, came in and done a great job. The only thing I will say, and we've got to be very cautious here, that these young players were playing to prove a thing yesterday. They came out bright, but can they do it over a period of time? They're going to take a dip as well, and they'll probably need a good experienced players around them to help them along as well. And that's where my point is. What do we do for the next game? Do we bring, in your opinion, Kenny Ken, do we bring the likes of Willian, Luiz, and aubameyang straight back in the team?
Well, what's happened, right, is that someone on Twitter put on a really good point. We know him very well as well, and we get on with him really, really well. And the first thing he said, obviously, he mentioned about the how we scored the goals, the amount of possession we had, and how he suggested that we actually got battered by Chelsea, which we did. And also, he said that relying on the kids isn't sustainable.
Sorry, so what's happened is that we got battered.
Well, we got battered. You know, we got battered. Arsenal got battered. We got battered yesterday in the second half. But what's happening is a combination of
Lampard. He had more of the game second half. But what did they do?
I think the first 10 minutes they didn't do nothing because for some reason it's that I felt sorry for Hudson Odoi because he's putting in his great crosses. So and then they've got no respect to Terry Abraham, but Giroud must be licking his lips, and then he brings on Havertz. And I'm thinking, thanks, mate. Thanks, Frank. Well done, mate. We needed that. But in terms of like the kids, yeah, Martinelli, gave us some energy. Smith Rowe, I gave him a 6 yesterday, and the reason I gave him a 6 is I thought he was tidy. He didn't. But what he did was, how do I say it, competent on the ball, and Saka played a role. But if we were to rely on all of them, I don't think we'll be in deep trouble because teams, that we're going to play like Brighton and West Brom, smelly experience. So for me, I think that if, and I say this as I said to you yesterday, two things will happen. If Willian Bosch da Silva, David Luiz, and Gabriel were all fit, Murray wouldn't have got a game. Smith Rowe definitely wouldn't get a game. And maybe Rapaldi might not get a game. So that's three players who would have played yesterday. In terms of like Martinelli as well, Aubameyang is walking back in that team because of the fact that he's the captain, and he, over a 2 to 3 year period, he's been banging in the goals. So Aubameyang will play instead of Martinelli. And in terms of like Lacazette, because Lacazette scored in the last 2 games, he'll lead the line, and then it'll be Saka who replay. These are just facts. Now a lot of fans go, "Oh, you can't say that." It's only one game. Remember, over a big period of games, you can name an Arteta lineup, off by heart, and that lineup will involve either Willian playing in a false number 9 on the right-hand side, left-hand side of the front three, or he'll be playing in midfield. It's just fact. He would have played. You've got to realise, whether people like it or not, Arteta trusts those guys. Even though performances haven't been going well, he likes Willian because he does what he's told. David Luiz is the player that whose contract he wants to extend, by the way. They're his boys. All right, he's fallen out with them, but they're his boys. And people need to get that into their little heads, all right? And not get the hump when they see the future team sheets, that these kids are not great at the moment, but they could be if they have the right coaching and they have the right development, i.e. they take their game to another level. At the moment, they're raw, and that includes Saka.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to get you on that point. Yeah. See, I'm not sure on this one. You said we battered them in the second half, but what I'm trying to say, they are going to dominate. Look, when we played Tottenham at White Hart Lane, we were 2-0 down, yeah, and of course we dominated the possession in that second half, yeah. Isn't that similar? That we're going to dominate they're going to dominate the second half because we're 2-0 up, and we don't need to go out and we do what Tottenham were doing. So
it's a combination of yes and no. Yes, because of the fact that that's what happened in the game. But if you look at the context of the game, because of the way we've been playing, in terms of we got battered by City 3 days before, lost to Everton, struggled, got flattened in the draw with Southampton and ran out of steam, got beaten by Burnley, and remember we're talking about defeats. It was even though we were 2-0 up, it wasn't a case of we're really comfortable in this game, and even it took the third goal for us to feel a little bit comfortable. But we were even fearful if Chelsea could have pulled one back. If Chelsea pulled one back, the fear would have been there. And remember, let's not forget, Tammy Abraham scores. They get a penalty. They score that penalty. These panic stations. But in terms of Tottenham game, I think the Spurs were comfortable because no disrespect, there wasn't enough quality. We had a lot of the ball, but there wasn't any quality going into trouble in their defence. In terms of Arsenal, Chelsea yesterday, there was actually quality, movement and quality. Only the wrong person, an extra body alongside Tammy Abrahams was needed in terms of Giroud. And I think that's where the difference was. But let's face it, we lost to Spurs in the first half for incompetence and naivety. Chelsea lost the first half and lost the match. They thought all they had to do was turn up and beat us. They believed the hype. They knew the pressure was on them. Their fans were doing shows all over YouTube and on conventional media, talking about how they're going to be the team that's going to get Arteta the sack, and they're even running shows how they feel sorry for Arsenal. What's happened at Arsenal? How can this happen? Arteta needs to go. This was Chelsea and blah blah. Now they put more emphasis in that rather than actually playing the game and actually going out and beating us. More for them.
Yeah, I do think there was a lot of complacency, and I saw that in their fans as well before the game, that they were going to do this, they were going to do that, and I think it also reflected with the players because, and you know what, there seemed to be a lot of their players at the end, and I think they got back. And the reason I think their mentality is not that great. I know they're up there in the top half of the table at the moment, but I look at their the way they walked off that pitch, the Chelsea players as well, laughing and joking, as if they couldn't give a shit. I think, and losing a game like that, you should be down. You should be down. I don't know what. I think it's these modern day players. I don't know if they don't give a shit anymore. No,
it's no. I don't think it's that. I think with modern day players as well, they're very much their peers, isn't it? Because a lot of these players, you know, like for instance, I was watching YouTube, and there's this Chelsea fan. We know him very well, actually, Rory Jennings, and he has his channel. And on it, his videos are sponsored by Nerf or something, and it had Chelsea and Arsenal players shooting pellets for a promotional show. So you had our three lads, Tierney, Nketiah, and Saka, and then you had Chelsea lads. You had Mason Mount and Abraham. They're all part of this little group of youngsters. You know, it's basically like a brat pack, isn't it? Like we used to get in the 80s with the Hollywood actors. Well, we got a brat pack in London football in terms of like the Arsenal and Chelsea players, and that's the thing. Let's not face it. After the Manchester derby, you saw John Stones and Harry Maguire hugging after the match. And these are English players. So it's not just the foreign players that we used to accuse of giving each other a hug before a derby. We said, you can't do that. It's actually our own. And I think that's what it is. Modern football, they're all mates. And they've all played the international level at all levels, all school age levels together.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, me personally, I'm looking at their team yesterday. Right, you say how good you think they're there. I don't think with this manager they've got, and I'm going to be very critical of him actually. I don't think with this manager they got, but they will get top 4 this season. I don't think they can get top 4. I think if that was a how can I say? Because I don't want to take anything away from Arsenal, because I thought Arsenal played really well yesterday. But I think if that was any other manager that was managing that team, more experience, I think Sarri would have done better with that team yesterday. I think,
maybe so. I think Sarri's. I think his tactics kind of confused Chelsea a bit because of the way that he was operating with Kante. He wanted to go further forward because he wanted Jorginho to hold on the ball. But I think in terms of Lampard as well, I think when you're a younger manager, I think his problem is he's got too many options. He's got too many players. Like he spent was it money on Havertz, money on Werner, money on Ziyech, and plus he's got players like Mount, and he's got Abraham, he's got Giroud, he's got all these players, and he's trying to fit them into a team, into a system that actually works for Chelsea. Yeah. And sometimes, and I think the same thing you go with Solskjaer at Man United as well. It's two embarrassments of riches. And if you look at the most criticised managers in the last 2 months, it's actually been our manager, Arteta, Solskjaer, and Lampard. Now, these are 3 managers you wouldn't really associate with managing these 3 big clubs, because if it had been about a couple of years ago, you would have expected more experienced managers to manage them. You know, bigger, or dare I say, bigger names. And I think that's the problem that Chelsea have got as well. They've got their favourite son in there, and they're giving them as much time as possible. But with the money they spent, you're right. Even if they get top four, is that acceptable with the money they spent? Where they would have expected a league challenge, because and they would have expected some sort of a trophy. So he has to challenge for the league. He has to win his league. Lampard.
I mean, I don't know what's happened. That Tino Werner looked completely out of sorts for me, and I couldn't understand his substitutions either, because he brought on, who was it? He brought on in the second half. You think you're 2-0 down, and you're
and Jorginho, isn't it?
Yeah, I would have actually brought it on. What's his name? I would have brought it. I think Jorginho, to be honest with you, should start games. I think he's good enough to start games, but I think they should have brought. He should have actually brought Giroud on. I think not in that game. I don't know why.
I was shocked.
Yeah,
I was shocked. I was shocked he'd done that.
I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad he didn't, because it might have cost us the game. Right. So let's put it that way. But I'm just putting it from the other angle, because I know we've got Chelsea fans in here. So that's why I'm debating Chelsea as well. This channel is not just for Arsenal fans; it's for everyone. And this is what we're all about on this channel. We do debate other teams as well. And for me, I'm going to say this. I think I thought Lampard failed the test yesterday. Completely failed the test. And
if that's the thing, you're right. It wasn't much of a test. We were there for the taking, Claude. We were there to be beaten. You know what I mean?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Exactly. So that we're there for the taking. Yeah, he failed in my eyes. And I'm looking at their side of the things. And a lot of Chelsea fans come on yesterday and slaughtered him. Absolutely slaughtered him. Slaughtered him, because they think they don't think he's up to the job. And to be honest with you, the only reason he's got the job is the club legend, not because of his credential.
Of course not. But the thing is, he did a good job at Derby. All right, in his first ever job, getting Derby to like the playoffs. Is for me to the final. I thought that was a good job. The Chelsea job is something he's always wanted. But the thing about it is that he needs to. I don't think he knows what his best side is, and how he wants to play. Sometimes they're playing a back. 1 minute they're playing a back four, then they're playing a back five.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only player that seems to be a constant for him is Mason Mount. But he's not sure whether it's Abraham is his. What's that?
Can I just read? Sorry, mate. I just want to read the super chat before it goes. Just want to read the super chat before it goes off the screen. Every player stood up yesterday. You can tell they are playing for Arteta. Yeah, well, they haven't been playing for him so far this season. We have to play the youngsters in the next game. You know what? Going on about the youngsters, right? A couple of them have been, although they are young, they have been experienced in playing for Arsenal for a while. The only one was really, you could say, and Zach made that good point this morning on our WhatsApp chat. He said it this morning, and he said the only really one that's not so experienced as those young players was Smith Rowe, because we've seen Martinelli, we've seen Saka's had a really good run in the team this season, and I think he's virtually played every game nearly, hasn't he? So to say that they made it was up, it's the youngsters. Yeah, they are young. Yeah, I'll give him that due, but some of them have got a lot of experience in the team. The only real one that's come in yesterday, really, because Saka's been involved with us in this bad run, and Martinelli hasn't, but Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe has not been playing at all, has he? He's done maybe a couple of, not even, sometimes weren't even getting a game in the Europa League. So, and let's get this right, and I'll agree with Kenny on this. Had these players not been either what I was told, that they were at Gabriel's party the night before, and this is why all three of them were none of them were playing, right? So they're all at a party the night before a game. Gabriel, Luiz and Willian, and so because we all know they're all very good, very close between the three of them, and they're all at the party the night before a game, and that's why they weren't in the side yesterday. So was it down to tactical thinking of the manager's part, or was it that they were dropped for that reason? So would they have played yesterday had they not been at this party before? This is what I'm trying to say. So let's get that one straight, and we'll see in the next game who's playing.
You know the answer. You know the answer, Claude. You know the answer that Arteta would have still be making the same selectionist decisions, and he will still make them afterwards. As soon as these guys are fit, they're playing. He can't rely on these youngsters. I know everyone wants to rely on the youngsters, but he thinks you can't have it both ways. You play the youngsters, and then if you're going to play the youngsters, then you need to have an agreement between yourselves and between all the fans that we're not going to win anything this season. We're not going to get the top four, and that we're just going to have to use this as an experimental season. And then once you do that, and once we get into our heads, that's what's going to happen. Then, maybe the calls for us by me and you and others for Arteta to be replaced won't have to happen. We'll have a calming influence on results. Don't go away. But that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Everyone gets excited after one game, but youngsters don't always are not always the greatest. Like, all right, I know Alan Hansen said in '95 you can't win with skids, but Man United still had Steve Bruce, they still had Schmeichel, they still had Roy Keane, and they still had an experience of Andy Cole, and Eric Cantona's come back, and they still went and won the double because they had great players around them. These youngsters, with all due respect, haven't got good players. Another thing as well is that what I was going to say, they haven't got great leaders around them. Another thing as well, you can't play Chelsea 38 games a season. We always lift ourselves to Chelsea when we're the underdogs, but there's a big game as well now on Tuesday against Brighton. We have to lift ourselves for that, and if we don't play with the same intensity, then we're going to be we could fail again. Another thing as well. Let's just get this into perspective. Because of Arteta's decisions, his poor management, poor team selection, his inability to get on with his main stars, in terms of his poor management, our rivals are now Brighton, Burnley, West Brom. All right, and that's because of his poor management. And let's not get carried away where we are on the table. That win hasn't propelled us into the top, into challenging for the league, like a win would have done for Leicester and Man United yesterday. Or done for Man City, getting in the top four. Our win has just made us sustainable, which is part of a horrid season. People need to get some sort of perspective. We've won, and let's enjoy that. But let's be honest with ourselves. Exactly. It's 3 points.
Kenny, I enjoyed it. I even put my money on them to win because I could see that happening. Because I could see the complacency in the Chelsea camp, and I just saw that result. You saw it. I called it. You heard me call it, didn't you? And everyone laughed at me. You know what I mean? But I had that. I knew that we'd get a result because we when we need to pull it out, we pulled it. But the trouble is, we're not consistent because what we do, we have these results, and then the next couple of games we go and do something stupid. Kevin Campbell is in the building, by the way. Kevin Campbell's joined the chat. We just want to say, he says, "Hi, Claude and Kenny. Hope you're well. Have a great Christmas, especially with the win." And yeah, cool. We are celebrating, Kevin. And I know you're big. You've stood behind Arteta all the way, mate. And yeah, sure, you're prerogative. And by the way, you've got we're Arsenal fans. We all want to win. But we have to be critical when it's needed, Kevin. We have to be critical. There's some of these players as well. I've got to have a good look at her. But I do not change my mind about the board at the moment. The people that are running the thing. I mean, Edu, Vinay, all these people have got to be accountable for where we are at the moment because we've brought players into the club that we know who they are, that are here just to pick up money. We know the three players we're talking about. We know there's certain. They're just here to pick up the money, and that's not acceptable for me. And you know what I mean, Kenny, don't you? You know how I feel about it. But of course, I celebrated. I celebrated long into the night last night. I did because I've done three bottles of wine. They're all gone. So I was.
That's a lot of wine.
Eh? Sorry, Ken.
That's a lot, isn't it? Bloody hell, Claude.
Hey. No,
bloody hell.
I slept well, though. I did sleep well, I must say. I did sleep well, though. That's good. No, listen.
I think
I'm still waiting for Ian Bill to be killed off.
Right. Kevin's... You know, Kevin's got, one thing you've got to respect is other people's opinions. Kevin... I know Kevin does a show with the Highbury squad with Sophie and Amanda. Kevin and Amanda have been consistently trying to give this man a chance. Got respect for that. But and the good thing about Kevin, he accepts. I can say that about Kevin. He accepts it as another alternative view in terms of our view. In terms of we were underwhelmed by our Arteta's appointment because a big club doesn't really normally appoint a manager like that, and at the moment it hasn't been going well. But in terms of the point I like the way that you've made as well, Claude, about the players, 100% that the thing. But that these players are here for the money. But you've got to realise right now, it's where we're at the moment with Arsenal. Now you look at Chelsea, we were criticising, surmising about Lampard. Those players that he actually bought are top level. They're top level players. And they're there to make Chelsea win the league. The players we're buying aren't top level. If you look at it right now, Partey, people talk about Partey, love it. From what I've seen, good player, but is he better than Ndidi? That's a question people never seem to understand. Aubameyang, top level striker, but at the end of the day, he's here to have a contract for life. And let's face it, if Real Madrid and Barcelona were calling, he would have been off. The fact that they didn't call out for him, or make overtures to sign him, says it's the only reason why he's here. Let's not forget there were rumours that he tried to engineer a move to Chelsea in January, in lieu of new contract talks. So let's just get it right. We pay him massive wages. We increase people. Aubameyang, when he first came here from Dortmund, we virtually tripled his wages. We've now doubled those wages that he gained when he was here. So he's not going nowhere. Partey, we blatantly quadrupled his wages. David Luiz is on a good wicket. William Silva, we gave him a 3-year contract where Chelsea wanted to give him a 2-year contract. So there's a reason why he's here, for the money. And that's the sort of player we're going to attract because of the position we're in. The Kroenkes will spend the money. Let's get it right. They'll spend the money. But the problem is the money they spend is not going to be the top level employees behind the scene and in terms of on the pitch, because we are not a club that is, challenging for the top 4 anymore. And we're not a club that's going to challenge for the league and the Champions League. We're not in it, the Champions League. So the level of player we're going to get is a second-tier player who's going to come here, the only way they'll come here is because we're increasing their salaries. Shame, but that's the way. That's the Arsenal we're at the moment. We have to. That's our lot.
Yeah. So for what would you do for the Brighton game now coming up Tuesday? Innit? I think the Premier League have been kind to us because poor old Brighton have to play and have to play 48 hours. So that's in our favour already, isn't it? Because they've got to play 2 games in 48 hours. Well, we've got the extra day off.
Brighton's going to be different. Brighton's going to be a lot different. Like for instance, we're going to play. We're going to have real pace. For instance, they can have a front field: Danny Welbeck, Neil Maupay, and Aaron Connolly, and they're going to run at us. And they're going to. You've got to realise, right? They haven't won a home game in the calendar year 2020 since they beat us. And they've got a very good record against us, and they know how to get in our heads as well. In the games that Brighton last season, at the Emirates, they battered us, destroyed us. In our game, we took the lead, and then they came back because of set pieces and indiscipline, tactically. So for me, fit, Martinelli's got to go on a bench. I'm sorry, but the reason why I was saying this with a great with Martinelli is that you can't leave out Saka because you know Saka is going to give you more unless you leave out Saka and play Martinelli in that position. Lacazette, we're going to need someone who can actually hold the ball up and then dropping these little spaces to put passes in for Aubameyang. No, we know that Lacazette never does that. But that's the thinking I would be thinking in terms of playing Lacazette centre forward. Aubameyang will play on the left-hand side. I can't see how Aubameyang and Lacazette can play. Sorry, Aubameyang and Gabriel Martinelli to play on the same field because they're going to run in each other's spaces. It doesn't make sense. If you play Aubameyang as centre forward, you're killing him. You're killing him because you're not. The reason why I say you're killing him is because you're not giving them productivity. Because we haven't got a creative midfielder of any semblance. And I'm not saying because Mesut Ozil's left that squad. Ceballos doesn't give us that much anyway when he plays. We're not putting crosses in on a regular basis from anywhere else other than Tierney. And Tierney, and let's not face it, Aubameyang's not the sort of person who'll get on the shoulder, who'll throw the sort of crosses. You have to run into the box, or late into the box. Late in the box. Now, that's why I say playing left. You can't play in centre forwards.
I think you've got a bit of trouble with your things because you keep 1 minute you're loud and clear, the next minute your voice is not coming across. It's like very faint. With your
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Sometimes you I don't know if it's because the way you're moving them about. I don't know if they're but yeah, I can hear you now properly. Yeah.
Just stay still. If I stay still.
Yeah. That's what I think. I don't know what it is because those. I think you got those earpods and yeah. Maybe that's what it is. I think. Yeah. Funny when we was on table show, it was coming much more clearer. I don't know why it's today. It's like Taddy's just.
Like this?
Well, Taddy's made a point. I've lost his. Oh, there he is. It's on the screen. May have to make the bold decision. Taddy says may have to make the bold decision to bench Aubameyang. Do you see him benching him on?
Why
not? Eh?
Well, he hasn't been playing well, has he?
No, you see him doing that.
And I wouldn't complain if he did do it. It'd be a very brave decision. I think it'd be the right decision, personally, because he's not been playing well. He hasn't got himself in a good goal scoring position, and his confidence is really low. And you've got someone like Martinelli, who basically, in terms of energy, he brings a lot of energy to the team. In terms of the fact that what he does is that he would take off causes, tackle back, get into the box, try and create something out of nothing for Lacazette to get his chances. Like you only have to look at his goal against Man City and look at the panic he causes in defences, whilst Aubameyang's a bit off form. And the thing is that if Arteta decides that he wants an orthodox centre forward in Lacazette to play, and he wants Saka to play, it's a hard one mentally. It's a hard one in terms of management to leave out Martinelli, then trying to build him up again because he's thinking, well, hang on, I haven't done anything wrong. Why am I being left out for? I've been off with injury for a year or so, nearly a year. I'm back fit and where to go. You're dropping me. What's going on here? He's going to just give himself an unnecessary man management situation, and he's probably going to give himself a man management situation with Aubameyang. But let's face it, form-wise, managers do like to stick with a winning team. But my head tells me that Aubameyang will probably have to start ahead of Martinelli because of the fact that it's a bigger game and you want your bigger players to playing those games on not just on Tuesday, but the game on the 2nd of next Sunday as well against West Bromwich Albion. You need him. You know what I mean?
I've just seen an article here. I'll put it up on the screen for everyone. Let's see, where is it? Just seen an article on my phone. I'll put it up on the screen now. 1 minute, let me get it. Oh dear. Let's have a look. Just slightly going off the subject, but area. And it's wait a minute, and it's going slams Kieran Tierney's penalty call by comparing Arsenal star to Robert Pires as after winning a controversial penalty. I think he's talking about the one he got against Middlesbrough, isn't he? Listen, I think he just got him by the heel there. So I don't know what you think, Kenny. Do you think that he made a meal of it, or do you think he did catch him?
Well, you look at the situation now. Players, when they get in the box.
You know what? If he stayed on his feet, right, everyone would be complaining. Why do you not go down? Because you'd have got a penalty, and the move comes to nothing. So referees won't give it anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Referees won't give it. He stays on his feet.
Yeah, you know the thing is, Claude, like players win penalties nowadays. You look at the penalty that Chelsea got through Mason Mount when he was was it Mari? He won that penalty. He won that penalty because what's happening is that he saw the challenge of Mari, and then what he did is that as soon as he got the challenge, he spun himself round and went to the floor. Because what happens nowadays is that you basically tell defenders, do not make a tackle in the box, don't go near them. Don't even try to do it. Let them shoot a goal. Let them put a cross in, because if you do, and they go over, it's a penalty. And to this day, defenders never learn, because because let me tell you that now, penalties are won nowadays. They're not. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter whether you've actually chopped the person down or not. If you go in and try and make an honest tackle, you're going to give away a penalty, because simple reason. All the guy has to. Strikers are clever now. All you got to do is just put the ball a millimetre away from the guy's foot, know the contact's going in, and fall over. You're getting a penalty. Jamie Vardy does it to perfection. Salah does it a lot. Mane does it. Our players, Lacazette is exploding in that. Tierney's just done it, and Mason Mount, loves it as well. It's an art now. People say, it's not the same. If you get
contact, you're entitled to go down, aren't you, Kenny? It's part of the game, isn't it? If you get contact,
of course you are.
And you're entitled. Because I'll tell you something, right? I've seen players are trying to stay on their feet, and the referee, even though they've been clouded, they won't give nothing. So you might, if you get hit, you might as well go down. And I think it's a genuine penalty, and you can't. I don't know what they're talking about. Why he's brought that up, I don't know, man. I don't even know why he's even brought it up, really.
Talking about, well, you know why Gary's brought it up, right? Let's face it, right? Everyone in the media thought we'd lose yesterday, and if you look at the Sky panel, right, he had Rob Green, like I said, he was a Chelsea backup goalkeeper. He expected them to win. Alex Scott, who was representing Arsenal, expected us to lose. Right? Yeah. She expected us to lose because I think what's happened is that she put her neck out to back Arteta, and then when results weren't going our way, she had her doubts, and then we won, blah blah. But she's no fool, all right? She's no fool. She knows that it's she knows that one, it's a once in a lifetime result. Two, she's been there with the Man United result. We won, blah blah, beat Chelsea. Now, it doesn't mean these players are out of the woods. It's a trust issue now. Do we trust these players to be up for it against the other games? Because 2 years ago, or maybe even before that, those games we were playing, from Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Southampton away, we look at them and we're saying, you know what? They're all winnable games. We can't say that now. We can't say that because the way the team's playing and the fact that the quality in terms of what we're putting out on the pitch and in terms of performances aren't there. So we're still sceptical because of the previous evidence of our games at the Emirates and the away game as well, where we've been battered, absolutely battered and controlled by the opposition. Teams that we're probably expected to beat.
Yeah, I'm going. This is the I'm going to go on to the. We're going to go on to the player ratings, Kenny. By the way, what I'm hearing, the people in the comments are saying, sometimes when you're speaking, it sounds as if you're underwater. I don't know if it's your AirPods, mate, but we'll carry on anyway.
It's probably it's AirPods.
Yeah. Don't worry. I think you need.
Can you hear me now? Because I'm getting closer.
Yeah. All right. Now you can hear. I can hear you all right now. Anyway, we'll start with Burton. Then I thought didn't have much to do, as I said yesterday in the in Tad's podcast. It was a great penalty save, of course, making up for what happened last year. It's this 1 year on after that big mistake he made against Chelsea last season, which cost us the game. But it could have been, actually, that was an important save, because if it's 3-2 and the 5 minutes extra time, I think we would have been panicking, because I think they could quite easily have done a West Ham on us. So I'm going to give him a 7. How about you, Kenny?
He completely agree. Yeah, I agree. Hey, hang on, let me just put my earphones in.
Yeah. Yeah, you in?
How's that, Claude?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's a bit better. Yeah. That's much better. Bellerin, I thought what one did you give for 7 as well? Yeah.
No, Bellerin. I gave Bellerin a 6 because I think Bellerin he held the line well, you know. But in terms of like that, it wasn't a game for him to like get down the line and put crosses in. It was very much a game where we had to keep our shape and we had to make sure that defence, like I said, was all in a line and all communicating with each other. So in that respect, I big him up on that respect.
Okay. Yeah. I thought he could have got an assist really, but Emil Smith Rowe missed that chance in the first half, didn't he? So he would have been on an assist as well. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be a bit higher. I think there's one. It's funny enough, he played really well against. I thought he played really well against Manchester United as well. These games he seems to pick himself up for. I'm going to give him a 7 for that. I think he played really well. Another guy I thought probably played one of his best games as well was Rob Holding. I thought he done quite well. He had a tough week last week against Everton, but I thought he come back and played quite well. And I'm going to give him a 7 as well, mate.
You know, we've seen with Rob Holding is that I don't know where it is, right? Chelsea, it's a Chelsea thing, isn't it? The cup final in 2017, last year's cup final as well, and playing at home. Each time we've been underdogs, Rob Holding, I don't know what it is with Chelsea. He just loves playing against Chelsea, especially in underdogs. And I think today was his game as well, where if you put crosses in, he loves it. He loves an aerial battle. He just loves it. He loves it. He knows how to, deal with those sort of situations. And it's such a shame because, he's very much a horses for courses guy for me. But today, I was very pleased with him. 7.
Yeah. Pablo Mari, I thought he got booked early, didn't he, with that silly unnecessary tackle on Kovacic. I thought he went on to have not a bad game, actually, considering he's not been playing at all hardly, has he? So I'm gonna give him a 6. Well, although he did give that penalty away, didn't he? Was it him that gave the penalty away? Wasn't it?
I think it might be him. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm gonna give him a 6 then.
I think there was certain times where I felt that he picked himself up after getting the booking. After, I think it was a tidy game. There were times when he struggled, but I agree with you. A 6 is what I'll be giving him as well.
I'm going on to Kieran Tierney, of course, one of the big pluses from this season for me. Got us the penalty, of course, and by the way, Gary Neville, I'm glad he did. He did go down because we wouldn't have got a penalty otherwise. And I think he's a good candidate to be a captain for me in the future. Really. Top player, love him. He's coming along. There's not there yet. He's not there yet. Don't get me wrong, but he reminds me a lot of Kenny Sampson. By the way, old Kenny, he does remind me of Kenny Sampson. But yeah, I enjoyed his performance. I'm going to give him an 8.
I must admit, you marked too high, Claude, but. Because I look at his performance, and I can't fault it. He was tough on the tackle, good with his distribution. Got down the left hand side when needed. But I'll give him a 7. But 7. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, El Neni, solid performance. Not been brilliant in the last few weeks, but I thought he was a bit better, much better today. I'm going to give him a 6. He did work his arse off as he normally does anyway. But what do you think?
You know what? He does the dirty jobs that we don't like. In terms of he's a bit of a water carrier. He protects the defence, and he just does. He just wants to play. You know what I mean? He'll play anywhere for his manager. He just wants to be part of this first team. It's a shame for him that, he's part of a team that's, not successful at the moment in terms of like our results. But got a lot of respect for him because he still keeps on coming. He still turns up for every game. He's up for every game. You can't like criticise him for that. Obviously, he's not the quality that we're looking for, but in these times, it's players like him we're going to need, especially going into the game on Tuesday and future games whilst we're in this position.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to shock you. Granit Xhaka, I'm not his biggest fan, but yesterday I thought especially that free kick, and he's capable of it. These free kicks, because remember Palace away, was it?
Yeah, we were there at Palace away.
That free
2-2. The Unai Emery, part of the Unai Emery unbeaten run, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. There we go. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, and Jesus, that's 2 years ago, isn't it? That is 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
2 seasons ago.
Yeah. So time flies. And he's capable. I've seen him do some good long shots, but he don't do it enough. But when he does get it, when he does hit them on target, they do fly in. I thought he'd done everything right. Didn't give the ball away, Matt. He didn't hardly give the ball away, which is good. And I'm going to give him an 8. I thought he was excellent yesterday. Excellent.
Totally agree with you. It's not just the free kick he scored and everything, but it's the work. Yeah. It was his work rate, his understanding of what was required of him. Another thing as well is that when players are out of position, he knows when to go in position to cover those positions in order to prevent any quality attacks. So that, for me, I agree with you. 8 is what's required.
Right. Hold on there. So we'll go on to Bukayo Saka. I thought he was excellent yesterday, not because of the goal. His all-round performance was fantastic. And we know he's got it in him anyway. I know he had a little dip in the season, but that's understandable. He's a teenager. He's 19 years old. Come on, let's give him that as well. And you know what? I thought he was excellent yesterday. I actually do think he meant that. I do, but you think you think he didn't mean it?
Nah, he didn't mean it. Sorry, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, does it? He scored.
No, it don't matter. But I'd like to give him credit for that goal. I do. I just don't. You know, only he knows. Only he knows. I don't know. I didn't see his after match. Did he actually?
No, no. What's happened is that Jeff Shreves said, "Bukayo, do you mean it? Of course I did, man. Of course I did." And he walks off laughing.
Only he knows. No, only he knows.
Only knows. But you know, it's again another thing as well.
The note didn't extend. Then it didn't extend when he said it.
No, it didn't really. It wasn't really an interview. It was like it's like it was like basically a scenario where I'm walking past you, and I shout out, Claude, what do you think of the game, mate? It was all right, Kent, and you walk off. That was the kind of it wasn't. That's the remark that a throwaway remark to Jeff Shreves.
Oh yeah, because I had it on silence because I was on the watch along seat, so I had to put it on silence, so I didn't see that. Oh right. So it wasn't one of them where they just stand one-to-one interview, and it was just as he was running. Yeah. Oh, okay, right. I get you. Yeah. Well, I think he meant it. I'm gonna say he meant it. Martinelli put another great shift from him on the team, mate. He gives us so much energy, mate. I'm going to give him another 8.
You mark too highly, mate.
Oh no, that's the way I am, mate. I think when they play well, I'll tell you, and when they play shit, I'll mark low. That's why I am. There's no in between me, mate. I tell you.
On a serious level, I think the battle is to actually get him fit, but you know, and then hopefully he can develop his game because he's in a situation now that he's very, very raw. You know, he's enthusiastic, which a lot of young players will be. And he is definitely going to be one for the future. And what he would need right now is 2 things. He needs a mentor in the team to help him learn his trade. And he's going to need a coach to manage him very carefully as well. And I think, because at the moment you're seeing raw talent, but the problem with the raw talent is that one of the risks we have is that we play him every game, blah, blah. We're not always going to get those performances. We're going to get the enthusiasm and the performances. And as happens with football, you know, coaches are clever nowadays. They work players out. You know what I mean? And that's my biggest fear for him. Hopefully, let's pray that he develops his game and he learns aspects of his trade. You know, probably learn how to play centre forward, so he can say, or you know, like playing that position, and hopefully we give Bellerin a chance. But with all our youngsters, let's give them time, let them learn their trade. And that goes for Saka as well. Still a lot to learn, those guys.
Yeah, I've not done Emil Smith Rowe, Nick. No, I haven't.
I gave him a 6. I gave him a 6 yesterday. The reason I gave him a 6 is because it wasn't to criticise him. It's because of the fact that his performance was very tidy yesterday. Like he was strong on the ball. You know, he passed at the right times. He got it. Yeah, and from an attacking point of view, he didn't really have much to do because we were very much on the back foot because Chelsea were up in the ante because they were 2-0 down. And it was no surprise that he was taken off, but for tactical reasons, because we needed a different type of midfielder. But when we were in the ascendancy, he was enthusiastic.
Yeah. I thought he showed plenty of energy as well, didn't he? I mean,
energy, that's what I mean. He was tidy, showed a lot of energy.
Now, I'm going to just go one above you because I think I'm going to go 7, but you're going to...
You're on full meter today, aren't you, Claude?
Alexandre Lacazette, well, I thought, I actually thought it's one of his best games again for a long while. He held the ball up well. I couldn't. You know, and his pressing was good. He slotted his penalty away well. I'm going to give him an. You're going to hate this, Kenny, but I'm going to give him an 8. Am I overdoing it?
Yes, you are, because he scored a penalty, but there was one instance where he could have crowned off his performance and put us 4-0 up when Mendy had a rush of blood, and it was basically he got the ball. What he did is he got excited. He wanted to score the spectacular goal, and really and truly, what he could have done is just hit the shot low, or just hit over, or just or try to chip him. What he did by trying to curl it, he gave Mendy a chance. But let's face it, that was a good reaction saved by Mendy. But you know, Alex Lacazette is what he is on a tin. We thought we were going to get this goal poacher, and he's not that kind of player. But yesterday, it was one of his better games. Again, he's another one who just turns up when it's Chelsea. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but, too right as well. Yeah, you're right on that one. I was thinking, I forgot finishing this off now on the players ratings. Yeah, you've got Lacazette right now, Martinelli, Aubameyang, and Saka. Right, will we be able to play all them? I don't think. Can we play without unbalancing the team? All them 4 players together?
No, you can't play them.
That's what I'm saying. Someone's going to be missing out here, aren't they?
Yeah, and that player who will miss out is going to be Martinelli.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of arguments and through. Well, why not Aubameyang? Why should it have been Martinelli?
Yeah. If you think with the Aubameyang situation, he's still a fan favourite, and most importantly as well, you've asked the guy to sign a contract because you're building a side around him, Claude, aren't you?
Yeah. And then when you think about it, all these players, right, that we've just named along there, right, plus Pepe as well, and I keep getting here by either we haven't got the players, we haven't done this, not the manager.
Who said that, Terry?
It's the players. We haven't got the players, and I've just named you 4. Add Pepe as well on, right? As well, right? Then you've got these players, and you say we haven't got the players.
Yeah,
it's all bullshit.
Can I answer that, Claude? In terms of like what Terry's saying, it's excuses, and I'll tell him that when I speak to him as well. Because the thing about it is that if you looked at the start of the season, we had the same sort of players. We beat Fulham comfortably, but Fulham weren't at the races, but we beat them comfortably. There were still, celebrations because we won at Wembley in the Community Shield, and we won it. We actually did we win our first 3 games? I think we won our first 3 games.
No, first 2. I think
first two, and then we beat our next game is West Ham, which we were quite fortunate to win. But all intents and purposes, when you saw that squad and you looked at the performances in the cup competitions, most importantly, one of the things that will happen, there was no way that squad is a team that should be 15th or 14th in the table. No way whatsoever. That squad is good enough to get in maybe the top 6, top 7.
Yeah.
Top 6, top 7. That's not a full.
This is why, I mean, I've heard Kevin say it's not the manager, it's the players. And I'm thinking to myself, I've just reeled these players on, and we're saying that they can't all play at the time because it would unbalance, yeah?
It's true, though. Right? I think the problem is that you look at Chelsea, the same things we were talking about earlier in this podcast about Chelsea. We're talking about Lampard. Everyone's talking about Lampard's embarrassment of riches. But the coach is clearly struggling to get these players into the team. Also, he's struggling to get a perfect formation for them moving forward. And that's the thing. He hasn't got the luxury of a Klopp where all the if he has injuries, players who come in, move straight in the system, and they have the same sort of enthusiasm and that aptitude that the players whose places they're taking because of injury.
Yeah, but that's down to the manager as well, though, to get them in with that.
And Klopp does help. But you look at it, Guardiola's struggling as well in terms of his formations as well. He's struggling because he's lost David Silva, and he still needs a striker in terms of dare I say Aguero, because Aguero, you can't guarantee Aguero to be fit every game, and Jesus works his nuts off, but he doesn't score the same volume of goals as Aguero. So the only manager who really has the perfect formula is Klopp. Mourinho, for all these things, everyone's, Mourinho, I think he struggles as well. He's finally got the grips of it, but, he's still got a worry where if Son Kane don't score, who scores for Spurs? So, it's a worry for all clubs. But in terms of Arsenal, it's not good when we're 14th.
No. Yeah, someone's gave Saka a 6. I can't believe that. Stan Kroenke is given.
Dave, there has to be a reason why he's given a 6. He may have his reasons. He may look at it. He may, everyone's interprets the game differently. Not everyone's going to agree. And sometimes, with the marking, we can go overboard with our marking, can't we, Claude?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I've been fair, right? And I'll say it as it is, mate. If they play shit, I'll say they play shit. They play well, I'll say they played well. I'll leave you with the manager, the rating of the manager. What would you give him?
Well, I gave him a 6 yesterday because the situation is that there was an element of luck about our win in terms of how the goals went and everything and how we got battered. But what's happened? Well, it wasn't his formations that won us the game. It was the fact that it's Chelsea. It's Chelsea. You know what I mean? He's up for it. The players are up for it. Another thing as well, the criticism of him would have hurt him. And I'm not talking about from our fans. There's people around the world criticising him because of his team selections and his comments after matches. And the players were hurt. But, I'll give him a 6. The reason why I'm giving him a 6 is because I've been burnt before. I got burnt after Man United, where I thought, even though I'm not a fan of him as a manager, I thought, he's cracked it. We finally cracked it. And then Aston Villa go and give me a slap in the face. And then we start losing games by our blood. And you hear his comments about certain players, comments about Saliba, I think. And you look at how senior players are, after poor performance, are still getting games. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to rush and just use that sort of phrase, credit given where credit's due. It's only one game. Only one game.
Yeah.
Let's own our position, and you know what I mean. I know people say, "Oh yeah, you're sucking the joy out of our win." I'm not too funny, right? That's a small club mentality, sucking the joy after a win. Seriously, yeah, you can enjoy a win, but we're 14th. We're 14th, Claude. I mean, I never see such rubbish on Twitter, sucking the joy after a win. You know what I mean?
Someone was texting me last night, said this could be the run. We could do a run like Man United and get in the top 4 like Man United did last season. And he said they come from the same position last season.
You know what? You never know. You never know, right? But you'll never know. But what are people going to say if God forbid results go south against on Tuesday and then Wednesday, or and I'm not talking about losing the games, not winning them. Where do we go from there? What happens then? We got to be very, very careful in terms of I think, and we got to, as Nick knows,
coming up, haven't we? We've got a good run of games where we should
you know win. What? I can't say that anymore because after Man United, we had a good run of games. We had a good run of games after Man United, and the only difficult game after Man United was Spurs, wasn't it? But we managed to mess up. We managed to lose those games, including Spurs. So I'm not.
Man United
again, January the 30th, we got Man United at home. Now, Man United have got excellent away, but we've managed to do Man United because we've wanted it more than them. And we managed to get a head start on them, and they couldn't get back in the game because we ran our hearts out and pressed them over the field. Well, what about the games in between that?
Yeah, we're back to 15 because Leeds are winning, I think. Yeah, someone's just said.
Fuck, bloody hell. Wicked.
Well, no, I think it's good for us because Burnley are below us, so we're further ahead of Burnley now.
See, that's the thing, Claude, right? These guys were celebrating a win, like we've won the league. And we're talking about, we're hoping Burnley drop points. People, you know what I mean? That's why I've got reservations against this manager. It's because of him and these poor players that we're in this position.
I've got a super chat here, Kenny, and it's up your street this more than mine. Hope you both had a great Christmas. Does Billy John, I think that's Billy John, Joe Saunders, does he have a chance against Canelo?
Every fighter's got a chance against any other fighter, but Canelo's on sort of different levels to the extent that there's no weaknesses in his armoury. He's like I said, he's got two good hands. He's got a speed of hand or foot. He's got a great jab. He's got great body shots, and he's got great power in terms of straight shots and hooks and uppercuts. You know what I mean? He's only 5'8", but that belies his ability. And he's so quick as well. You know, he's difficult to hit. He's got a great defence. You know what I mean? Billy, and I think what happens is that Billy's show when he gets in the ring with Canelo, by the time he realises he works Canelo out, he'll be probably 3 or 4 rounds down, and he can't win the fight.
Yeah, he's also said, is Emil Smith-Rowe good enough to start consistently? And
well, that's for you, Claude.
You like Mari?
Team.
Hey?
You keep it. That's your question.
Good enough, yeah. Consistently. It remains to be still. He's still quite a young kid, but I'd like to see him play many more games.
You know what? I don't think he's going to make it. I want a genuine top class number midfielder in the team who's going to get us going.
That's a bold shout. That's a bold shout. You don't think he's going to make it?
I'm not saying he ain't going to make it, but the thing. All right, if you want me to be honest, right? I'll say it's a great respect, right? You look at all the youngsters that come through over the last 10 years, right? Who's actually made it into the first team, into Arsenal's first team? Because when you look at Howell Ends, and they talk about all these these youngsters coming through. The goal for them is to play in the Arsenal first team. But what seems to have happened is that all these players have gone and had careers outside Arsenal.
Yeah.
Now, not too far. Now, the only player that seems to have made it from Howell Ends so far is Jack Wilshere, who had a credible career at Arsenal, albeit with injury. What's happened to him?
Actually,
what's happened to Craig Richmond? What's happened to Tom Cruise? Yeah, exactly. What's happened to Mark Randall? What's happened to all those sort of players? What's happened to Henri Lansbury? What's happened to all of them?
He became a film star, didn't he, Tom Cruise?
No, but when we had a player called Tom, what's happened to all these youngsters that Fenger used to play? They haven't made it. They haven't made it. And there's no guarantee that all these other players are going to make it as well.
Listen, someone you quoted, and the same person you quoted early in the first bit of the show, right, actually has been very critical of Howell Ends as well. So you're not the only one.
But I agree with him. Yeah, Dave. You look at the conveyor belt of talent. It's about getting them in the first team and actually being stalwarts in the team. That's the goal, and that's what Howell Ends should be about. What Howell Ends has been about is about getting players into having football careers outside the football club. It's not Howell Ends is not a success. Yeah. It's not a success. No way is a success.
Yeah. Bargav has come on and says, what took Arteta so long to give ESR a chance and Smith-Rowe a chance?
Injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries. If these players were not injured, Smith-Rowe wouldn't have got a game.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
People can come out.
sometimes things, even though you don't mean it, falls onto your lap. Things fall onto you, and luckily yesterday things just fell for Arteta yesterday. And sometimes you make your own luck as well. I mean, you could say he's had a bit of bad luck with the own goals this season that they've gone against certain decisions. Decisions might have gone against us as well. So you've got to give credit when it goes the other way as well.
Oh, sorry, there's a question in the chat from Michael McKenzie. Says your academy should make your money. No. And Michael, you're right. I do agree with you, Michael. It does. But ultimately, you want your academy players to get to that first team. You know what I mean? It's not just because I know what you're saying, Michael. Because what's happening with Chelsea?
Chelsea a lot good, isn't it? Chelsea's academy.
Yeah. Because what's happening is that their academy players have made Chelsea a lot of money in terms of like they've had careers elsewhere. They've gone on, where after they've gone on loan, they've got talented good players. Like for instance, Nathan Ake was in Chelsea academy, was a Chelsea youngster. He's now at Man City. De Bruyne as well. So I do get where you're coming from. I do get it, but ultimately, surely, Michael, you want a pathway to the first team. You want them to become first team regulars. Surely that's
another club before Chelsea. No,
who's that? I don't know if he was, but you look at it. You've got Van Arnold, wasn't he at Chelsea? Van Arnold.
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah. They
Bamford was at Chelsea Academy, wasn't he? Bamford. So all these players that
I remember people telling me what a big thing that Josh McCracken was. Is it Josh
McCracken? Yeah,
he's going to be one of the biggest talents going. Don't even know where he's playing now.
Yeah, and that's what happened. But we've had a lot of those players as well. Frimpong, what happened to him? He was I remember watching the game.
I think the Dench done well out of Dench, isn't it?
But that's the thing. But, I remember watching the quarter-final FA Youth game at White Lane between Arsenal and Tottenham, and Jack Wilshere was playing. Frimpong was playing. Frimpong was playing. J. Emmanuel Thomas was playing.
Yeah, all players we thought were going to come through, innit?
Yeah, you have a holding player.
Boothroyd.
What's that?
Boothroyd, Jay Boothroyd. I thought he was a talent that was going to come through.
It doesn't always work out like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Another one is Stephen Sidwell.
Steve Sidwell, yeah.
All these players, you think they were going to be really good, and then they never. I mean, they didn't do. Sidwell didn't have a bad career. He went and played. He actually got to play for Chelsea, didn't he?
Well, that's the thing about all these players. They've had good careers, but not Arsenal. You can't say J. Emmanuel Thomas hasn't had a good career in the lower leagues. But in terms of the pathway for Arsenal,
wasn't Eddie Nketiah at Chelsea's youth?
Yeah, he was at Chelsea. They said he was too small.
And
see,
he didn't see the ball yesterday, did he? I mean, he didn't really get any.
You know what it was is that Lacazette, scoring at Man City. So to be honest, Eddie wasn't really needed. What was needed was us to keep Chelsea out and weather the storm. It wasn't about Lacazette, Aubameyang coming on either. It was about protecting the lead we had. Yeah,
the Aubameyang. Was you surprised to see him on the bench yesterday, or did you?
No, not at all. I thought he'd be on the bench because what's happened, right, is that it was just in case it went tits up against Chelsea that he was on the bench, but he wasn't needed. Because we the scoreline.
Give him his due, Arteta. That turned out to be quite a smart decision, really, didn't it? I mean,
look, but you know what's happened, right? Is go 3-0 up, probably against the run of play does give you the luxury of a moment of rest.
You think it was against the run of play? First half, you can't say it was against the run of play. Sure.
I thought it was. First 10 minutes, we were on the front foot, but before they got the penalty. I thought they were on top.
Yeah, but see, you say on top, they weren't really.
Well, they hit. Remember the free kick that hit the post.
I mean, in fact, did they have a shot on target in the first half?
Well, I know. Well, I don't know if you call hitting the post and on target. He hit the post for a free kick.
Oh, the free kick. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that was.
I don't know if you call that on target or not, but in terms of like the intensity of Chelsea's game. They didn't start off like that, but they grew into the game. And then when we got the penalty, it was too late. And then we went 2-0 up. It was like, the energy, mental energy went out of Chelsea, and we had the kind of the mental edge because we were 2-0 up.
There's another player that they're talking about. Benefit is another one.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to make another one that ended up at Spurs, but I think he had the wrong attitude. What was his name? But he said he was a Tottenham fan anyway when he was at Arsenal. What's his name?
Bentley.
David Bentley. Yeah, remember that goal he scored against? Was it Middlesbrough or Norwich? I think it was Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Isn't it the Cup when he just bent that ball around? What was it? Oh,
yeah, it was against Middlesbrough with that chip against Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
But
it was all thinking, here we got a talent here, and what it ended up at Spurs in the end.
Yeah. And there was a guy who played for him. Who was a good youngster with him as well, called what's his name? Thomas as well. Wembley boy, had a good career at West Brom. Wembley lad.
Sanchez what?
No, like a guy. His surname Thomas, isn't it? J. Thomas.
Jet. We called him Jet, didn't we? J. Emmanuel Thomas. Yeah.
No, he had a good career at West Brom, and and then what about the greatest academy player as well? A guy who was at the academy as well is at Bayern Munich, tearing it up for Germany at Bayern Munich, isn't he?
Yeah, well, there we go. That's another one.
Serge Gnabry. We didn't. The majority of our fans didn't think he was going to turn up. There was no pathway into the first team for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, of course, the one we thought was going to be really good. He went abroad and never done it. It was Chris Willock.
Yep.
Done nothing.
Yeah, but I
don't know even know where he is now. Where is he now, Chris Willock?
Yeah.
I think he's in the lower league, isn't he?
Yeah, but if you look at Joe Willock as well, if you look at Joe Willock, you put him in the Europa League against the teams we're playing, there's a lot of space for him to run into. He looks okay, but when he plays in the first team, he looks lost. I mean, Unai Emery used to always take him off after half time because it was like he was, how to say, he was,
Jerome Thomas.
Yeah, Jerome Thomas, that's right, yeah. Jerome Thomas, yeah, he had a good career at West Brom, didn't he?
What about those other two boys? What do you call it? The other ones that they were going on. Rennie Adelaide. What happened to him?
Yeah.
And the one was it? Who's that one that went to Scotland as well? But a young kid. Everyone was going mad. Very, very small, very slightly built. Oh. He went to Scotland on loan and then never made it. I forgot his name.
We got listen. What about Coquelin as well? Coquelin.
Anyone know what I'm talking about? A young kid that everyone was raving about.
Yeah, I think there'd be people in the chat. But remember Coquelin? Coquelin. Salim. Yeah. That's one of my reasons why. I kind of agree with what he said about Hayland, and I agree with his comments about in this run putting all the emphasis on the kids. You know what I mean? That you are going to need some sort of experience, but the problem is with the experience we've got, it's if the players are not playing for that manager.
Yeah, there's another one, Quincy Owusu-Abaye. Remember?
Yep, Quincy Owusu-Abaye. Exactly, we've got a list of players who have not made it. You know what I mean? And see, Claude, that's the thing, right? It's Hayland's not working.
It's very, even on youth systems, it's very rare to get. You're lucky if you get 2 or 3 out of them. Man United were very fortunate. No one will ever do that with Man United.
Yeah, definitely. But the problem we got is that we do have a problem in terms of like we're competing with the same boy. It seems like Chelsea are beating us to the best talent in London.
Yeah. Yeah, he did look too weak, that Zalim. He did look... Rio Miyachi is one. Yeah. We've had, I mean, that's all under Wenger. That was all under Wenger.
But it's a combination over the last 10 years, isn't it? You know, you've got to include the Wenger years. Emery wasn't here long enough, but it's still the same situation. Is Haaland a success? I don't think so. I'm not convinced it is.
Yeah. Anyway, let's look. We've done over an hour here, hour and 20 minutes, mate. God, listen. Thank you so much, Kenny, man. Thanks you for coming on, mate. I really appreciate what you're doing. But you're very busy with the kids. You've had a busy time over Christmas, I bet, with the kids.
I think the thing about it, right, is that you want to keep Christmas as normal as possible, but what's happening right now is that this year and probably going into the first couple of months of next year, everything's going to be by ear. You know, they're saying that they want us out of the lockdowns by February. If they want us out of the lockdowns by February because we got this new vaccine, we just don't know, Claude. We don't know what the situation is. Because I know this is. I don't know, because you look at it, right? We've had a massive lockdown from March last year, and it still hasn't worked. Then we tried a little tier systems, and that didn't work. Then we went back into lockdown. It hasn't worked. So everything they've tried isn't working. So is it people? Because people are still getting infected with this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So something's not working. So it's the only alternative to have the vaccine. I don't know, because it seems like it's the only thing we could do in order to get out of some sort of normality. Because sitting at home, praying this disease goes away, isn't working, is it?
Yeah, I agree. Listen, Kenny, thank you so much. As I say, thank you so much. Thanks to everyone in the chat, and stay backstage a minute, Ken. I want to speak to you backstage. But thank you everyone in the chat for coming on as well for this morning. I'm sure Sunday morning, for once, felt great this morning when you woke up this morning, because it's not been good for the last since November. I think that's our first win since in the league since the beginning of November. So that's a long time. And yes, it's good. Maybe they say, like the buses, when they don't turn up for a long time, to turn up at the same time. So who knows? Let's hope we can win on Tuesday. I think it's on Prime. I think it'll be on Prime, the game. Is it on Prime Amazon? The game, is it on Prime Amazon?
Yeah. Amazon Prime. I've got Amazon Prime on my TV. So you.
Well, actually, that's one channel where you're actually only about 5 seconds behind. Not like Sky I've got here. It's bloody. So it's not too bad. I quite enjoy that channel. Yeah. Take care, Kenny. As I say, take Kenny, and take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the festive period, and.
As best you can.
Onto the Amex on Tuesday, and let's hope when one bus comes, another one comes straight after. Here we go. Take care, everyone. All the best.